Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So we just finished watching Black Widow. Marvel's officially back in theaters, and so Billy and I are here to give you guys our first thoughts right out of the theater. Overall, Billy, what do you think of the movie?
I thought it was decent. Like, definitely action was a high point, but I did feel like the story was kind of messy and didn't really engage me as much. But I feel like if you want to say good, like fun action movie, it's pretty, standard blockbuster, great action. But I did want a bit more from the story.
Yeah, I definitely felt like the first act was really well done in terms of action. But then that, it literally didn't do anything in the movie. It was like a lot of action in the first act, and then there was nothing in the second act. The third act was full of a bunch of twists. It made sense in the beginning, but it just kept getting weirder and weirder as time went on. It just didn't really make sense at a certain point. And a bunch of the reveals, like we're not going to reveal anything because this is a spoiler-free review, but we'll talk about it later in depth. I just feel like this movie tried too hard to be like Winter Soldier when it came to almost every single aspect in the third act. What do you think of the similarities between this movie and Winter Soldier? Because you were talking about that.
Once Aryan pointed a lot of the similarities out to me, and once I noticed them, I'm like, dang, like it was a lot, and I did feel like it was almost a little too similar in some of like the story beats, things like that.
Yeah, it definitely felt like, especially in the third act itself, like in the first two acts, I didn't feel like there was any big similarities, but towards the end, it got really similar, and there were like certain story beats that were the exact same as Winter Soldier, and so that I didn't really like. Also, the score in this movie was absolutely phenomenal. I really love the score, and the sound design was also great. I would also say that the movie didn't really feel like a Marvel movie at first when it came to the cinematography.
Yeah, it did.
The camera work was so good. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I would say like definitely camera work and other aspects of the movie. It really didn't feel like a Marvel film, honestly, until the third act, in my opinion. The first two acts, maybe I would say, at least the first act really did not feel like a typical Marvel film. So that was really good, and it felt pretty different. But I would say after all, you did kind of get to more standard Marvel blockbuster like tropes and cliches and stuff.
Yeah. Also, the action in the first half of the movie was absolutely crazy. The third act's action didn't really wow me as much as the first act, because the first act felt like it was going on for so long when it came to the action, and then the movie went by so quick. The movie felt like it was so slow in the beginning because there was like a bunch of different layers of action going on, and then at a certain point it just like plateaued, and I didn't really feel like I was getting any either like emotion out of the dialogue. Some of the jokes were hitting in the second act, but other than that, nothing in the dialogue really stood out to me. What do you think of the writing specifically?
Yeah, I would say a lot of this just felt like a lot of the dialogue felt very stale, very just dry, especially like any dialogue involving Black Widow. I feel like Scarlett Johansson's movie wasn't really that good. Like she was just very kind of straightforward, just dry, and didn't really have any personality. And I feel like that's kind of been an issue with her character throughout the entire MCU, but it's kind of just covered up. She's kind of been more in the background, hasn't really had like center stage. So I feel like those issues were a bit more prevalent since she was the main character.
Definitely sideline.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Scarlett Johansson can hold her own in a superhero movie. Not to say that she can't do it in any movie, because in Marriage Story she was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But overall, I just don't think that she can do it in a superhero movie. I would love to see a sequel with her as somewhat of a side character maybe, and Yelena as a main character, because in this movie, Yelena literally felt like she was the main character. She did not feel like she was a side character at all. Honestly, I like Red Guardian more than Black Widow in Black Widow's own movie. I just didn't really feel the vibe with Black Widow. Also, her dialogue was just so stale. It felt like Yelena and Red Guardian, maybe it was just their Russian accents, because I felt like that was like kind of contributing to the funniness of it and the humor in the movie. But overall, I just didn't like Black Widow in this movie. Overall, I did like the movie though. Bradley, what are your first thoughts rating?
First rating, I probably give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's enjoyable. Like I said, like if you have a fun time with the movie, it's definitely one of the better MCU movies when it comes to action. The also story, it might be lacking for some people, and the story does take some odd turns, and that I didn't really like. But overall, I'd say it's a fun movie. I would recommend that you go see it.
Yeah, honestly, I think this movie's like the perfect summer blockbuster. I just watched Fast 9, and I think this movie's more of an action blockbuster, and even the story in this movie isn't like too bad. It's just kind of bland, I would say. So my overall rating is probably a 7 to 7.5 out of 10. Probably gonna end up being a 7.5 out of 10. Really enjoyed the action, and overall it is a pretty good movie. I would say in the MCU it's mid. I think in the MCU it's like a mid-tier movie. So overall I had a great time. That's it for this review. If you guys want to check out any of Brownlee's social medias, you can click the links in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.